Hey everyone, it's time for Off the Ledge. Today is Friday already, and it's September 19th, right? 2025, yep, that's correct. I'm going to start today with yesterday's astrological forecast that I wasn't able to find yesterday. I had to delete some things. So let's start with Kathy Beale's forecast that was for yesterday, and then a little bit later in the video I'll play the one for today. So, because the energy just kind of, builds on itself. So we still are in this energy. This is yesterday.
This is Kathy Beale of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro Insight for September 18th, 2025. Every single day for the rest of the week is monumental. If you're not keeping a journal, you might find it a useful tool. Mercury is moving into the sign of Libra, which is about beautiful phrasing, trying to figure out how to say things so that you gain buy-in and acceptance from other people. Creativity could run really high, and you could also be extraordinarily aware of who has been pulling the wool over your eyes. That's all for now.
Yeah, that's great. So that was yesterday, and yesterday Mercury went into Libra, so we're still with that energy. So I'll play today's in a little bit. So a couple things that I just want to talk about that are going on. One is the flags here are back at half staff, and I'm going to have to go walk my little butt up to the mayor's office before noon today and ask him about it. But the one that I can see from here is actually not at half-mast, so interesting. I'm going to also address that in true authoritarian form, I don't want to upset people too much, but Trump has cut down the trees in front of the White House that have been there for over 200 years. The big, beautiful, gorgeous trees. They're our trees. They were our trees. A lot of you know there was a while back where I talked about that I was pretty much protesting the removal of trees from a state park here for 6 months, every single morning. Trees are our oxygen and our lifeblood, and trees are alive. And those trees, huge trees, I have to look up to see what kind, but I'm afraid. Because it's breaking my heart. Trees represent heart energy, the green, heart center. So anybody that feels like they can just sit by and just go, meh, we'll see. I hope it works out. I really have to hold myself back from just being so upset about that. And at the same time, it makes me want to work harder to push back, because it's the pushing back on this authoritarianism that is our only means. I was going to say hope, but it's our only means, okay? Pushing back against this authoritarianism is our only way to preserve our democracy. It's up to we the people. And rest assured, more people are waking up. More people are mad as hell. I don't think I see any more Trump flags around. Those who are still waving them are just angry. But there's a saying, don't bite off your nose to spite your face. And what's happening is their faces are being spited, if that's a word. Because he's attempting to take away our freedom, including freedom of expression. So we knew it was going to come to this. I can't even tell you how many Substacks I wrote about it. But now, when the rubber hits the road, we really have to just put our money where our mouth is. That's enough idioms for today. Let's read Ernest Holmes. The people have the power, We have to use it. Let's do this. Okay, so hang on a second. Divine mind pervades every atom of my body. Spiritual substance is our physical perfection. No one knows exactly what the mind is, but we certainly know that it is something within us that enables us to be conscious and aware. We are told to let the mind be in us that was in Christ. What can this mean other than each should recognize the divine incarnation in themselves? It was this realization of his union with good, with life, with God, that endowed Christ with his miraculous power. There is one mind which all people use. Each one is an individual in it. It is individualized in and through each. The mind of God in man and humans is Christ. This mind is not a faraway presence, nor is it some future event toward which we travel. It is something that is already and forever established, that needs but to be recognized to spring forth into manifestation in our experience. This recognition can come to anyone at any time. We need not move away from ourselves to discover ourselves. What we do is uncover and reveal that which is already concealed at the center of our being. And so it is. And let's listen to Kathy Beale's forecast for today.
This is Kathy Beale of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro Insight for September 19th, 2025. We are in a wind tunnel of information. Today could be absolutely crazy. Listen to your own guidance. Listen to the spark of the divine inside you. As crazy and fast-paced as the day is, it's actually possible to approach it all from the perspective of how can I fix this? What is really going on here? Your logical, critical faculties can play into what is happening, even as we all sense that something much bigger than any one of us is at work. That's all for now. This is...
That is right in alignment with what Ernest Holmes was saying. And if you feel like you need to go back and re-listen to what I read from Ernest Holmes today, it's worth it. I go back and re-listen to things all the time. It's helpful. We miss a lot the first time around. We're at the beginning of this solar eclipse energy. And the sign of Virgo, it's a time to pay attention to the details. There are a lot of protests going on this weekend. Please, please, please join a protest. Even just your presence brings the collective energy up. I also want to ask you to do the meditation from last night, the guided meditation for a healed America. It was about faith and trust. And do not... I'm just begging you, do not succumb to the fear. All the fear-mongering. If you see somebody fear-mongering on a pro-democracy channel, write something in the comments. Fear doesn't get us there. Courage gets us there. You could just write that. I know that they're trying to shut down our free expression. That's what this country was founded on. Do not be silenced. Don't refuse to be silenced. I mean, the fact that he cut down our trees, our beautiful trees, gives you the sense of the consciousness that Dumpy is. And on the list of trees to be clear cut and destroyed are those in our national parks. So if that doesn't inspire people to rise up, I think they might be dead. just say that. It's really important that if you can binge watch all the guided meditations for a healed America. It's just really, really, really important. I can't stress it enough that we get our thoughts on winning. I was thinking this morning about how incrementally things happen, and we start to, without realizing it, just assume that's the way things are. And I want to compare it to when people stopped calling you on the telephone. We used to call it a telephone. When people stopped calling you on your phone. When they stopped calling you to talk. I've mentioned it before, and many, many, many people have noticed it, but it was incremental. And now, how many of us have to check? We have to send a text message. Is it okay to call you? Which is polite, but I'm just making the point. And if you just call somebody, in general nowadays, if you just call somebody, that people aren't used to that anymore, so usually they'll think, what's the matter? Is there something wrong? Right? So I'm just making a point that it's incremental, how things change. So if we forget that we never used to censor ourselves, we never used to censor ourselves. We were saying whatever we wanted because that's America. So do not go back to sleep and tell the rest of the people. Tell everybody you know. Let's pull 3 cards. By the way, tonight is PNN live stream. Please share. I'm not going to entertain the thought too much that they're going to cut us off. Those of us who have pro-democracy channels. But I am going to start a mailing list. So I'll let you know more about that. I'm going to start a mailing list next week of people that want to stay in touch through email. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. 3 cards for today. Summer-like day here in New England, and we're in a drought. So for all the sun that's so enjoyable, we are in a drought. Most people are exhausted. But we have to know that we have to keep going. We have to take recharge breaks, but we have to keep going. Because we're being asked to respond with a level of spiritual maturity and moral maturity. Like, probably we've never been called upon to respond with this much spiritual maturity ever before. And let go of what doesn't work. Let go of all the anger and the rage and put it into mobilization. So yeah, I know we're exhausted, but you know what? The Ukrainians are exhausted too, and the people in Gaza are exhausted too. That's not a guilt trip. That's a perspective trip. So let's let go of all our, things that are holding us back. All right, that's it for today. Please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe. And if you're a member, know that you have access to all my presentations. They're under the videos for members. And our psychic party is Sunday afternoon to align with the fall equinox and the solar eclipse. 3 p.m. Eastern Time live. After Church of Spirituality, which is at 1. Okay, love you lots. Namaste.